The first duty of government is to protect our rights.
It's our job to maintain the proper role of government in what we were tasked to do.
If you really want to doge, this is how you doge. You don't vote for bad legislation that expands government. Thank you.
Now we're talking about taxpayer money, and we're talking about accountability. It is their money. This isn't a government program we're actually spending on. We're actually giving it back to the people of Idaho.
There's other options for making our ballots more secure, such as using watermarks or putting holograms on the ballots.
And I think that that's what we need to look at more, is trying to get back to what we used to be, where our churches and our families took care of each other instead of relying on the state.
I asked the question rhetorically, if we gave them another $1 billion, they wouldn't be happy. Well, we've given them $2 more billion, and it's not enough.
We need to start making Idaho first. We need to start making America first.
The other states like Texas and Florida have enacted similar laws to address illegal immigration, both locally and in their communities. And Idaho has the right to protect itself when the federal government has failed to do that.
COVID presented us with quite the enigma. We didn't really know what it was or what to do, but that is no excuse to violate the rights of the citizens of the state of Idaho.
Say vote no on this and let the teachers teach and quit bringing in coaches to teach the teachers to teach, and let's get education going again in Idaho.
I don't know what's coming after this current administration for the feds, and we need this law because our federal laws on immigration have failed.
Mr. President, I think it's incumbent upon us to allow parents to use their hard-earned dollars to provide what's best for their children.
If I was looking at a business and I was looking at these figures, there would be heads rolling because this is unsustainable.
My concern is that the resilience of Idahoans who believe in self-reliance and self-responsibility will be eroded.
We need to be protecting our First Amendment rights, not inventing ways to slowly chip away at them.
The First Amendment and our freedom of religion, freedom of speech are our first liberties. They are so important. We don't have the rest without them.
Yeah, watch it.
Come on, guys.
Well, hello, everybody. It is 11:30 in Boise, 10:30 a.m. north of Riggins. And folks, Idaho Signal is back on the air. It is 2026, and I am thrilled to be able to return for a third session here with you guys in order to cover your Idaho legislature. My name is Matt Edwards, and today we are looking ahead to Governor Brad Little's State of the State address to the legislature. So let's get right into it. What can we expect from Governor Little? He'll likely outline his plan for balancing the budget with a shortfall on the horizon, which has made news since the off season. You'll hear the squawkers out there say that it's a revenue problem, but the truth is that we have a spending problem and it needs fixing this year. The governor knows this, so the question is, which side will he lean into? He also knows that we just had one of the most productive conservative sessions in recent memory, with wins like protecting our medical freedom and privacy, ending DEI and higher education, and keeping women and girls safer from these mentally ill men dressing as women. I don't expect him to highlight these more conservative social wins, as he tends to focus on infrastructure, ag issues, water, and jobs, which are all vitally important. But he's definitely no Ron DeSantis in throwing red meat into the conservative populist crowds. So from a conservative viewpoint, what do we hope to hear? A strong push to address that the spending cut issue by cutting non-essential programs that don't deliver for Idaho families. Now, we had last year's big tax cuts, and they aren't to blame for the shortfall, despite what some claim. But now we have a new sheriff in town on JFAC. I don't know if you guys have heard, Representative Josh Tanner is stepping in as House co-chair after Wendy Horman's departure for the Trump administration just happened. That happened just a couple of weeks ago. So you better believe that real cuts are coming. Tanner's already shown he's serious about fiscal sanity while on the DOJ task force and calling on the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare to pause those child care grants, to prevent fraud like we saw in Minnesota. He did that with a joint letter with Senator Brian Lenny that they sent to the department. And the rank and file Democrats will scream foul as their precious socialist programs get dismantled. But stay strong, folks. Don't be intimidated. We are on offense now. We're not just holding ground. We are going to take back old territory, and we're going to plant our new flag on new frontiers. It is time to rally and take no prisoners. That's what we're doing here on Signal. So we also expect the legislature to tackle property taxes, be it full repeal or the first step towards repeal. We know there's the grocery tax petition that's out there. We'll see how that goes. The Idaho families and our seniors are getting hit hard with property tax, so we need to find relief there. And then on the healthcare front, we've got Medicaid expansion. And this should also be repealed. It needs to be a main priority because it's creating dependency. There are employers, I don't know if you saw this, reporting that they have their own employees. These are able-bodied adults limiting themselves to 20 to 28 hours a week so that they can keep Medicaid benefits. That's bad for everyone. It's like paying people to sit on the sidelines when they could be scoring touchdowns. Repeal it. Promote self-reliance. We also need to be protecting homeschoolers with a constitutional amendment. This almost passed the House last year. It lost out by 1 vote. And so we need to address all of this stuff. They also need to look at the counties, the corporations, even their own colleagues that prioritize illegals over Idaho families. We've seen cases like a certain Republican legislator employing undocumented workers with criminal records, yet there's no consequences yet. So that's not putting our citizens first. And finally, if you didn't catch our big Blaine Amendment special, we are going to be on the tip of the spear on this issue. We're going to keep you informed, to keep you educated on this. We do not expect the governor to tackle something as controversial as repealing the Blaine Amendment today in his speech. His controversies tend to involve pushing for more education spending, even though attendance and scores flatline or decline. But I digress. When it comes to the Blaine Amendment, though, please watch our short documentary. It's only 6 minutes, Idaho versus Christians. You can share it around. It's over on YouTube and Rumble. So, Governor Little, you need to set the tone for today for another strong year. Let's build our conservative successes. Let's fix the spending issues. Let's strengthen Idaho. Now, here with expectations and wishes on what we're supposed to hear from the governor is Senator Josh Cole from Twin Falls. That's district number 25 for those keeping count. Josh, Happy New Year. Welcome to the first day of session. How are you doing?
Thank you, Matt. Good to be here. I'm doing great. I'm excited for this coming session and to see what we can do to make Idaho more sovereign and more secure, more conservative in general in how we do governance.
Yeah, excellent. So I have to get right to it. I want to get to what do you expect to hear from Governor Little today, and what do you hope to hear? So give me part A first.
You know, I think a lot of the conversation is going to be around spending and the budget. And that's kind of the big elephant in the room, as you alluded to. I would like to see a conservative approach to it, obviously, and we can get into that. As far as what I expect the governor to see, I think he'll be on a more defensive tone and prioritizing what programs he really wants to defend and see bolstered and not cut. So the problem is, as you mentioned in the intro, people want to blame the tax cuts that took place last session for this deficit that we have. But we know that's not the case. Conservatives have been warning for years now about the spending problem that our state government has. So over the last 5 years, each year, our government has expanded its budget by 10% or more. So we need to right the ship in a lot of ways. There's a lot of fat to the bone that can be cut. And that's what I would like to see is strong leadership from the governor, but also from the legislature, the co-chairs of JFAC to really lead the way in making these cuts so that they are effective and they maintain core services, because we do know there's a lot of waste and we can prioritize our funds much better in Idaho.
Yeah, that is so true. I mean, the national news that journalist Nick Shirley broke with what's going on in Minnesota. It's almost like we always knew that stuff was going on. I mean, you this is going to be your second session, but you've been paying attention to politics and what's going on in our state for a while now, and we all know it's there. But it's almost like nobody cares until you get like a piece of juicy content like that, like something where the guy shows up to the childcare and there's nobody there. You know, I mean, it's like that kind of timing, that kind of content that really wakes people up. And I thank God for that. And I'm so glad that you're there, going to keep an eye on it. Real quickly, when we do hear this argument back and forth about it's a revenue problem, not a spending problem. Generally, when we cut taxes, now look at Idaho, we're cutting taxes. Generally when you cut taxes, but you also have an overwhelming increase of population where there's more people paying taxes now than there were before, you tend to see an actual the dollar amount has always increased. Is that the case here?
Well, so one kind of addition to the variables that we have in this case is I think the revenue that was set by the legislature wasn't necessarily realistic. And we did have economic analysis beforehand that had an estimated number, and we went above and beyond that number. So I think that was unfortunate, but I agree economically, when you look at the macroeconomics, what we're going to see is a stimulus to the economy by putting those monies back in the hands of Idahoans. We also have a growing population, as you said. So as long as we keep the spending in check, Idaho is going to flourish. Our revenue is going to maintain just fine. I think we're going to see that bounce back. But the kind of what got us into this trouble was we had a rip-roaring economy, and we also weren't keeping that spending in check. So we increased spending last year, and we cut the taxes. So that's a tricky one to get right. We would have gotten a lot closer if we had been more realistic about the revenue. Overall, I do agree with you. I think the economy is going to prosper because of these tax cuts. Now we just have to make sure the spending is cut back and the growth of government is trimmed back so that we are within our constitutional mandate to have a balanced budget.
Yeah. And don't forget the COVID money, right? COVID money, just like it was as if it was always going to be there, and they create these new expectations that when the COVID money dries up, we have to fund that and continue those programs that we're going. So very good points there. And duly noted on the fluctuations in our revenues and such. Okay. So you're heading into, this is officially this will be your second session.
Yes, sir.
What are your priorities? What's at the top of your ticket coming in this session that we can pay attention to and that people can rally behind?
Yeah. So obviously the big item is that spending, and we need to make sure that Idaho comes out of this session with a balanced budget, and we have spending in check and reduced by, I would hope, a large amount. I think there's a lot of fat we can cut right now. Now's our opportunity to really show the nation how to deal with deficits, because we see so many states and especially the federal government just add more debt to the budget. And that's not what we need. Luckily, we have the constitutional mandate to balance the budget. Let's use that to show the rest of the country how to deal with deficits. And you deal with it by being fiscally responsible. Beyond that, we had some social gains in the legislature last year that I would like to see added upon. You mentioned it in kind of your intro. We got medical freedom across the line. That was excellent. I would like to continue that momentum. Also, I think we have some room to move forward on the pro-life agenda. I am going to be bringing forward a bill that will reduce some of the chemical abortifacients that are going into our water supply right now. That's the real problem that we see is we don't have people getting abortions at clinics. We have people getting abortions in their homes with chemical kits, and that human material, as well as the abortifacients, which is literally chemicals designed to end life, is going back into our wastewater system, and that is being recycled into our water supply in general. So I'll be working on that. I think that's a very pertinent issue, and it's one that has growing concern across the state.
Yeah, absolutely. The way you just painted that picture, okay.
Yeah, there's not really a way to not make it gnarly because it's very disturbing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stories out there that will make your skin crawl. I don't want to disturb your audience too much, but this is a big issue that we need to tackle in Idaho and across the country.
Yeah, well, hey man, we're gonna have you back. We need to disturb people. I mean, this is the whole point, right? I mean, it is disturbing, so they need to be disturbed. We will have you back to dive into that more when your legislation starts floating out there. That's really great. Okay, so you represent Twin Falls. I want to make sure Twin Falls people see your face, know that you're out there doing the hard work. What do you hear on the ground from the folks in Twin Falls?
I hear on the ground, people are excited to have conservative representation overall, and people recognize that we are in a deficit situation because of the overspending. So I'm so stoked and so proud to represent the great Idahoans of Twin Falls. It is a privilege of a lifetime, and I can't wait to continue that and really just show the rest of Idaho that Twin Falls can be just as conservative as all the other great spots of Idaho.
Josh, I know you're born and raised in Idaho.
Yes, sir.
But I just got to say, I love that you use the word gnarly and stoked. I don't know how that entered your vocabulary up here with no ocean nearby, but rock and roll, man. I love it.
Ski culture. It's all the same.
That's right. That's right, man. All right. Well, I'm going to let you get over to the speech from Little, and we'll get some reaction from you next time on this. But good luck to you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
And where can people follow you to keep tabs on what you're up to?
Yeah, you can go to coal4idaho.com, and that's my Twitter handle as well.
Excellent. All right, Josh, take care. Thanks, Senator.
Thanks, Matt.
All right. All right, very good. We did have also on the docket Senator Ben Taves. I'm going to call him out because he has not shown up yet, but that's to be expected because it is the first day of session. There's all these things going around. People sometimes promise to be able to, or they don't necessarily promise, but they say, yes, I'll come on. I'm ready to go, unless something comes up. So this is a live show, and we're right in the middle of their day, and I thank Senator Cole for taking the time to do that and come on out. And if, Ben, the floor is open. Anytime you want to jump in, just jump in and we'll have you come on. So if Senator Taves can do that, we will do that. So I do want to say real quickly here. Oh, we got a comment. Ban all wind and solar. It decimates everywhere it is installed. Stop power companies from doing the very Democrat safety shutdowns. Oh, yeah. You know, whenever they shut down your power, right, for safety. Yes, good topics. So a couple of housekeeping items here for you folks. If this is your first time tuning into Idaho Signal, I just want to give you a little bit of the lay of the ground here. Is that the right term? I got to get all my terms ready to go here. But here's how we lay it out. You comment. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or X, you can comment and they can come through and they can show up on the screen like we just had that one. You can also call us. You can call us, right? There it is. There's the number, 208-402-4915. It's a voicemail. So you call, give us 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what's on your mind. Any topic is open, and we will play your message on the air. Just leave us your name and town and let us know where you're from. So that way we can rally the troops in your area too, if they hear it. So call us on that number, and also streaming or scrolling down at the bottom there is our email. There it is. Boom. signal@citizensallianceidaho.org. And if you didn't know, Idaho Signal is a project of Citizens Alliance of Idaho. Okay. And then the final thing, we have like calls to action, right? This is about avoiding the noise, avoiding all of the distractions out there, and really getting to the heart of these matters. So one of the things, if you did not catch our special that we aired last week, it was on the Blaine Amendment. And if you have, we talked a little bit about in the intro, the Blaine Amendment is basically part of our Constitution, and it has continuously harmed our community by government using the Blaine Amendment to tell Christians that they can't participate in public programs or they can't continue their existence because somehow the government is sending money to them, when it's absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. And how we know it's not true is that these people end up suing the government for violating their rights, and they keep winning. So would you rather have this amendment, the Blaine Amendment, continue to be in our Constitution, costing taxpayers time and money, the court's time and taxpayer money, losing lawsuits? Because all these lawsuits are they're losing. We're losing, and it's costing everybody money. So we can continue to do that, or like the Supreme Court has already said, these things are unconstitutional. Let's just get rid of it out of our Constitution. So you can go to sign the petition to do that at blaine.idahopetitions.com. What is also there is a documentary called Idaho versus Christians. It's only a 6-minute documentary. You watch that, you can share it around. There it is there. And it's about a specific story that happened at Truth Family Bible Church in Middleton with Pastor Danny Steinmeier. There he is right there. So I encourage you to go over, watch that, start learning, start getting up on it. That QR code in the corner will take you right to that page so you can sign the petition as well. So we're all about action. We'll have QR codes, we'll have phone numbers, we'll have emails. We are going to stay on top of this like you wouldn't believe. Every issue, everything going on. And on top of that, we have a new sponsor that you are going to love. Check this out. Because if you're like me, guys, and you love that perfect smoky flavor on your steaks, your eggs, your grilled veggies, without having to just fire up the smoker every time, we've got you covered. It is the American Smoke Company. They smoke pure American Pacific Ocean sea salt with real American woods. We're talking hickory, oak, mesquite, apple, and more. They smoke it for hours, infusing that salt with deep, authentic smoke taste. I'm telling you, you guys open up the can, you take a it's an absolute gorgeous, gorgeous scent. I have like 6 or 7 of these different smoked flavors. I use them every week on my meat, on my eggs. It takes simple meals to the next level. There's no additives. It's just clean, bold flavor. So head over to American Smoke Company, AmericanSmokeCo.com. Grab your favorite today. Your taste buds will thank you. American Smoke Company, real smoke, real American. We will be right back.
And I think people really think that. What's good for Micron is good for Idaho. What's good for Albertsons is good for Idaho. Especially when you get into politics, you end up spending a lot of time with lobbyists, with business leaders, with the rich and powerful donors. I think it does become a bit of a bubble.
Idaho is the dirt under your fingernails after an honest day's work. Idaho is the hug around your neck when your daughter spells her first word. Idaho is the written word of the law, steadfast and impartial, guarding liberty for all. Idaho is the family rifle passed down, a legacy of protection and the right to stand firm. Idaho is the echo of your own voice, unshaken and free, standing tall among the world's silenced. Idaho is the home that's built to weather storms, not empty wallets. Idaho is the quiet trust between a patient and healer, unbroken and sacred. Idaho is the hymn carried by the Spirit, gathering neighbors together in faith and purpose. Idaho is the laughter around a campfire, a family's bond growing stronger with every word. Idaho is the pioneer's will, firm and clear. We govern ourselves, free and unbound. Idaho is what America was. Let's keep it that way. Ask your legislator to sign the Citizens Alliance of Idaho pledge to preserve our shared values. We ride together.
All right, folks, welcome back. We're excited. We got a bunch of other guests lined up for you, so don't worry about that. Brian Allman, of course, will be here. He is back with the program. And we also have a city council person from Post Falls, who's going to also give us his perspective from Governor Little's address, what he hopes to hear, and what's going on in the cities. So we do have that on deck. Earlier today, or possibly still going on right now, the chairwoman of the GOP party, Dorothy Moon, has been at the Lincoln Auditorium at the Capitol delivering some I guess an update and some news on the party and what happened this weekend. This past weekend was the winter meeting, and so we'll have Brian Allman on here to discuss that as well. But there she is this morning delivering those words. I do want to get you a little bit up to speed. If you haven't watched this program or you haven't really paid attention to Idaho legislature and politics from the past year and so forth, I do want to kind of give you a lay of the land of where we're at heading into this session, because this is also an election year. 2026, we're going to be re-electing. All these folks are up for re-election. So some have some hardcore challengers, some have some clown challengers, but all that aside, I want to give you a little bit of the wins that are happening here, and if we can just secure the Senate, we will be able to just do what everybody. Look, when you look at the national level and you're like, okay, we've got Trump in office, we've got a Republican House and a Republican Senate with J.D. Vance being the tiebreaker, right? We should just be boom, 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 flowing along here. Well, we have that here. We have super majorities here in Idaho. The Democrat Party is pretty much they can't run their agenda, and so what do? What is the big problem, right? The big problem is that they co-opt, or they put on a different coat and they change parties and run as Republicans. And we have some bombshell stuff that we're going to share with you of this session on a perfect example of somebody who is clearly a Democrat. Clearly, 100%. In fact, I bet you he gets more grief when he votes for a Republican bill from his friends than he does from Republicans when he votes for a Democrat-style bill. But more on that later. Here are the highlights from this past session. Of course, the big one was the Idaho Medical Freedom Act. This stemming from the pandemic, stemming from COVID. This was a huge, huge problem, right? So we had Senator Dan Foreman running the Idaho Medical Freedom Act. This was the bill that got vetoed by the governor at the last minute there. And so really, and we're gonna dive into this too, the behind the scenes action to not only get the bill reworked so that the governor would sign it, but also on how to present it to both chambers and how to get this through. Because when a governor vetoes a bill, it's happened where you think the bill has passed with an overwhelming veto-proof majority, and then it gets vetoed by the governor, and then all of a sudden, usually the senators change their tune and they switch their vote and they uphold the veto because they defer to the governor on it. Well, that didn't happen here, and so the Idaho Medical Freedom Act passed. Along with that, in the same vein, ivermectin is now available over the counter at your local pharmacy that carries it. What's fascinating, of course, about all this is that, again, at a national level, you're watching all of these things be vindicated, right? Masking was retarded. Standing 6 feet apart from each other was equally and doubly retarded. And denying people the ability to treat any kind of illness early on, and waiting until they're hacking up a lung inside of a hospital. Now we can treat you. You're like steps away from death, and now we can treat you. Like, early treatment was saving people if they paid attention to it. And so all that stuff is being vindicated now, and Idaho is right there. We're right there. These folks, these conservative legislators, specifically your pledge signers, are right on the cutting edge of all this stuff. And one more time, the no forced mask mandates, right, which had been something that had been tried to get past the line almost every session. I think 3 or 4 different or four different legislators tried to pass it, and it couldn't happen. So there you go. Of course, the tax cuts last year, we talked a little bit about that with Senator Cole. The income tax reduction, the property tax, they did another thing. Again, for all those out there, the legislature they don't set property taxes. They don't collect the property taxes. They don't tell anybody how much they need to pay. The money doesn't even go to the general fund of the state. It's all localized. And so the only thing they can do is kind of restructure and try to shore up places where the property tax is used. And normally they will say, okay, we will take care of schools building funds. So schools don't have to run levies. They don't have to do they don't have to add on to your property taxes and all that stuff in order to take care of X. We will cover that. So you guys don't need to do that. So it's still your money, obviously, but it's not being done through your property taxes. It's coming from a larger pool of a tax base. The SNAP bill, the no taxpayer money going to soda and candy, if you're using SNAP, of the nutrition program, right? Protecting women in private spaces. This was Barbara Ehart and Cindy Carlson's bill. They had an issue where you could still be a man dressing as a woman in a prison and go use the facilities, or use the facilities in colleges if you're dressing up as a lady and you want to go violate the privacy of women. We also had the protecting doctors' right to operate within their conscience. This tells you that you cannot force a doctor to perform a procedure that goes against their personal conscience. If that's something that you need done to you, you got to find a doctor who's willing to do it for you. We kicked the WHO out of Idaho, and I don't mean the band, I mean the World Health Organization. Although I think most of the WHO is dead by now, so they're not coming anyway. What else did we do? Protecting children from sensitive sexual materials in their schools, enhancing parental rights in schools with no more of this gender identity curriculum and garbage like that. And of course, protecting free speech. The anti-SLAPP legislation was fantastic. So, okay. You guys can't hear me? Oh, some people can hear me. I guess as long as people can hear me. I mean, I can hear myself. I guess that's all we're worried about here. So those are some of the things that got through. Great, and I got more of a list here, but there are still some frustrating things over the years that haven't happened yet, and we need to have these folks strengthened. We need to get more pledge signers involved and in the legislature in order to pass a lot of these good bills. One of them that just boggles my mind, of course, is the whole teachers being able to carry or school staff being able to carry on campuses if they feel they should. And that was a bill that made it through. It did make it through the House, and it got shut down in the Senate. The Senate is the big problem here, and so we really, really need to focus on putting the pressure on the Senate with these conservative bills. So we need to do that. We are awaiting Brian Allman, and I'm not sure if he is here yet. I don't see any notice of him, but hopefully we can get him on here so we can go over this. We do have where's my other list here? There we go. So, folks, once again, we need you to call that number. Throw that number up on screen. I want to get some good messages from you this session. I want to hear again. Nothing is off limits. We're talking about Idaho. We're talking about Idaho politics. We're talking about Idaho, the legislature, the governor, and we really need you guys to call and voice your opinions. 208-402-4915 is the number, and we would greatly appreciate your participation. One of the things over the interim was the flag bill, we called it, House Bill 96 that passed, which said that cities can only basically fly city-approved flags, which is the official flags, the city flag, the American flag, the Idaho flag, state flag. Those are the flags that can't be out there. Why? Because Boise has been flying the mentally ill trans flag for a while now. There's a photo of it. And I was able to get my op-ed published over there at the Blaze, because I need you to understand, folks, the flag is extremely important. You might think, oh, it's just a flag, and everybody has a flag these days. But the flag, and that article is all about this. That flag is a symbol of conquest throughout our entire existence on Earth as human beings. When one group conquers another, they hoist a flag, they unfurl a banner as a signal to the rest of the world, to everybody else who can see that we are in charge here. So when you see that flag flying at your capital city of Boise, that means something. It doesn't mean inclusivity. It doesn't mean that. It means we are in control. This is our town. This is our city. And if you can see that everywhere. There was a big uproar over Minnesota changing their flag, the whole design of their flag. Okay, now that may sound like, oh well, they just redesigned their flag. No, they tore down the Minnesota flag and hoisted a new flag and called it the Minnesota flag. Right? And if you haven't, I don't have a picture of it, but if you haven't seen it, it's very similar to all the flags that fly around Somalia. And with everything that's going on in Minnesota, you know that this is a big deal. So we're going to stay on top of these types of issues, and you can always find some stuff we're publishing over at the Blaze. Okay, I think we have Brian Allman down at the Capitol. There he is, my friend. Brian, happy New Year, my friend. Welcome back to Idaho Signal. Good to have you, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. It's good to be back. Happy first day of session, however you want to celebrate that.
Yeah, really. Now, I want to get into the governor with you a little bit, but at first, a little birdie told me, is this true, guys, that it is Brian Allman's birthday? Is that right?
The rumor is true. It is.
Fantastic. Well, happy birthday, Brian.
My 43rd birthday, and Idaho's the 43rd state, so I figure that's auspicious.
Hey, this is going to be a great year. This is going to be a great
I think so.
Okay, so earlier today we talked about it. Dorothy Moon was in the Lincoln Auditorium giving an update, I guess, on the what happened this weekend at the winter meeting. Did she provide any expectations on what Governor Little? She was hoping Governor Little would also present during his speech. Give us a little bit of background on what she was doing there this morning.
So Dorothy Moon, chairwoman of the Idaho GOP, gave essentially the Republican agenda determined by the committee. It's not just her coming up with stuff, as some people think. It's the State Central Committee met last weekend to consider rules and resolutions. The resolutions are essentially the agenda. This is what we want the legislature to do this year. And there were some interesting resolutions there talking about water retention, building our water supply, talking about, changing taxes, cutting the budget, holding employers accountable for hiring illegal aliens was one of them, making sure that foreigners can't be buying our land. So it's all there. You can go watch it there. And she also mentioned that she'd like to see some cuts in the budget and spending. Obviously, we've got this revenue issue where tax revenues are coming in under the projections, and they do those projections so they can balance the budget, because we have to have a balanced budget according to the Constitution. And so she was hoping that that would come out. We'll see what the governor says here in just a few minutes here in the Capitol in his State of the State address. But I think the math says that you're going to have to cut spending. There's no two ways about it. It's just where are you going to cut? Just a 3% haircut like the governor did for this year. He excluded education, so that's a lot of money right there. or are they going to cut this or cut that or just a little bit here and there? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out what the priority is, and then of course the JFAC and the legislature will have their own opinions as well. But yeah, so that was the Republican agenda, and up to Republican legislators then to turn these resolutions into bills and carry them out. And of course, we need citizen support. If they don't hear anything from the citizens, then they're going to assume that at any point nobody cares. So contact your legislator, say, hey, Republican legislator, this is what we want you to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we keep getting comments in here that, like, we got to cut spending, we got to cut the budget, we got to cut the budget. And, you're going to hear that from conservatives over and over and over and over again. Because it's like, that's our money you're wasting, or your money that we're using for things that are non-essential. But it's not as simple as that, because like you're saying, you really have to get in there and figure out what exactly is the things we need to cut. And you can just do a across the board thing, and like you said, but education gets left alone, and that seems to be the unions are so powerful that they scare a ruby red state like Idaho, that if you cut one penny from a system where you have declining numbers of customers and lower results, that if you cut one penny, they're going to drop a Hiroshima-style bomb on our state. They are the biggest cartel in the country, and it really is really upsetting. It's really upsetting because we know we care about children. We know we care about the education of our kids, and they are so obsessed with their union dollars and the funneling that goes from the unions to the party, so that they have zero power here, but it feels like they have all the power. Is that right, Brian?
It is true. In fact, one of the resolutions that the Idaho GOP did was to cut taxpayer support for teachers unions. I actually carried that resolution myself because they get little perks from their districts. So tax dollars go in to pay for example, for union presidents to go do union activity, which is often political activity. Little things like that. And yeah, they do scare people. That bill has actually passed the House last year. It didn't get a Senate because the Senate State Affairs chairman was kind of loyal to the union. And we know that the teachers union is going to spend a lot of money trying to defeat any proponent of school choice. You mentioned that, anybody who even thinks about cutting the education budget, we have raised the education budget massively over the last 5, 6, 10 years. We're spending $3 billion a year, all that from Idaho taxpayers, not federal money, $3 billion a year on public education. And we have this other program, $50 million for school choice as a tax credit. And the teachers unions and the public school boosters are just apoplectic about it.
Yeah, and the teachers out there that are probably looking at me going, oh, you don't want to give me a raise, you don't think I get paid enough, you don't want to support me. No, the teachers and the students are the two most important things inside that system. And I'm telling you, teachers, right now, the people who are against you, the people who are working against you, are your own unions and the administration. And all of the other third-party institutions out there that rake in all of these government dollars by shoving down your throats curriculum, testing, data analysis, all of this garbage that you do not need. You do not need. That's sending you to these conferences. Do you know how many conferences these teachers go to? Vegas, New Orleans, Los Angeles, Cleveland, Cincinnati. They go to these conferences for weeks and weekends on end throughout the year at our expense. At our expense to learn garbage. When all we need them to do is just get the money should just go directly from there to the schools. And I mean, there's so much, Brian. We could go on all this. I'm getting off on a tangent. Tell me now what you expect to hear from Governor Little.
Well, I can only speculate. I've talked to other legislators and other folks in here, but until he comes his address, I'm sure there will be a few surprises. Looks like they're getting started there with the Pledge of Allegiance. So the session is underway. Obviously, he's going to have to tackle this budget issue, and he's said a few things over the past few weeks, talking about not tapping into the emergency funds, the rainy day funds. It obviously just be a Band-Aid on the issue. It wouldn't fix the structural problem. I don't think he wants to cut education because he's made it, a big deal about raising for education, increasing investments, he calls them, historic and unprecedented investments in public education. Your tax dollars, of course. So I expect him to come in with a few budget cuts, trying to protect what he sees as priorities. I don't expect the governor to throw the launch grant under the bus. That's been his baby. A lot of conservative Republican legislators want to see it gone. So we will see what happens. Obviously, he's going to tout all the good things that he'll claim credit for. But yeah, I expect modest budget cuts. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll let you get in there, but before we go, I think we have a mutual friend who's hanging out with you today. Is it, we got a surprise down there in Boise? Bring her on screen. Is she there?
Yes.
I was told. I was told.
Yeah. As you're working on that, obviously, we have another almond here, spelled differently, no relation, but she makes a great. Looking forward to seeing.
Can she share the frame with you or no?
She's at the other end of the hall trying to get.
Oh, she's at the other end. Okay, gotcha. All right. Anyway, well, there she is. Look at that, Lily Allman from In the Know, Idaho, our big celebrity. Lily, can you hear me? Okay, how's it going down there? How's your time? Oh, we don't have a mic on her. That's okay. We'll just wave, Lily. We'll
yeah, you need this.
Hello, I got a mic.
Oh, there we go. We got a mic. How's your time down there? We're going to catch up with you more tomorrow, hopefully, but how's your time down there today?
That sounds great. Yeah, it's been really fun. I went to the Republican winter meeting, so I got to hear about all the new resolutions that they're going to be presenting to the legislature. And obviously, this is my first time at the Idaho Capitol, so it's been fun walking around, seeing the sites. I got to go visit some offices. There's a lot of activity today. Some protesting for Medicaid and stuff like that. So it's been a good time.
Oh, yes. The protesters are out there. I bet you're having fun with that. Okay, great. Well, I'll let you guys get to it. We'll see you again tomorrow. You guys have fun with the speech today and enjoy all the mayhem to be had.
Awesome. We'll see ya.
All right. Thanks, guys. Okay. Very, very good. That's exciting. Yeah, we had some. Did we had some pictures earlier, you guys, of some of the protesters that were out there, or no? That's what's going on in the House right now. So they're just going to do some basic business. Oh yeah. So this was this morning, right? Is this happening right now? Idaho now 50th in doctors per capita. Doctors per capita, and then what's that? Medical coverage saves tax dollars, something like that. I'm not sure. We've got a nice woman in a mask as well. Good Lord. Oh, my gosh. Sorry. I can't handle it. Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a short break? Like I said, we've got a city councilman coming up to give the city side perspective on this. And then there is a program. We will play as much as we can. We will play Governor Little's speech. It's projected to start at 12 p.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, and so we hope we'll be able to carry that live for you. And then tomorrow on the program, we'll have all the analysis and look over that and get some reactions from some more folks. So let's go ahead and take a short break, and we'll be right back.
That's exactly what happened. You want to pull the tape? You can pull the tape because we now got video.
All Idaho lawmakers swear an oath to support the Idaho and U.S. constitutions. But how's that working out for you? Because not all Idaho lawmakers share the same values. That's where the Citizens Alliance of Idaho pledge comes in. 10 statements inspired by those two founding documents that are designed to preserve our shared values. Values such as education freedom, safeguarding free speech, defending our protected right to self-defense, and being responsible stewards of taxpayer dollars. When a lawmaker signs the pledge, they are performing an act of political courage, accepting the challenge to be a champion for our values, and serving with political integrity. To find out if your lawmaker signed the pledge, visit idahopledge.com. Paid for by Citizens Alliance of Idaho.
we ride together. Okay, very nice. Welcome back. Once again, folks, the number to call to leave a voicemail is 208-402-4915. We also are going to do we did live calls once before as well, but we still have to figure out the best way to go about that. But in the meantime, 208-402-4915 is the place to go leave a message. And if you're in the comments section, are the comments blowing up, guys? Any good comments out there that we can throw up? Subsidized medical saves tax dollars. Yeah, I mean, you and me, Wendy, you and me. What else? We got lots of comments so far. Just throw them up there. I've noticed some people. Yeah, the mask thing. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. Yep, in the liberal heart of Boise. Okay. One other thing. I saw a comment. We shared a graphic on our Citizens Alliance X page. If we have it, go ahead and put it up. It's a young family here looking to get inside of a public venue. And there's a sign on there that says, "This is a public venue. No Christian meetings allowed." Now, let me tell you right now, this is fake. This is not real. Do not clip this and say this is real. Okay, this is a presentation or this is a representation of what could happen, or also what is happening in our state. And we posted this on X, and somebody responded, "Hopefully soon this will hopefully soon this will happen." I don't have the exact tweet for that. But the whole notion behind this graphic here, which is fake. Once again, this is a fake graphic. Now that I'm on screen, you can't cut me out of this. This is a fake graphic. It's not real. This isn't anywhere. But the whole notion of this is that because of the documentary that we released, Idaho versus Christians, it was a church that was renting, a paying customer was renting a public space, meaning a school, a charter school. And they were told by the state that if the school was going to apply for these bonds to pay for upgrades to their school, that they could no longer rent their facility to a church. They can continue renting to the facility to a music school that was also renting, but to the church, they couldn't. So there was basic discrimination. They filed a lawsuit and they won because their rights were violated. And so this is a sort of a representation of that scenario, that we would have public venues where they would say, you can't have any Christian meetings in here, even if you're a paying customer. And that's why we need to repeal the Blaine Amendment, because it's being used over and over and over again to do this. So go to blaine.idahopetitions.com to sign the petition to repeal the Blaine Amendment, or hit that QR code up at the top. Okay, joining us now is Mark Luca, Councilman Mark Luca of the city of Post Falls, newly elected. Mark, Happy New Year. Welcome to the program, and congratulations on being elected to City Council.
Oh, thanks so much, Matt. It's great to be with you. Glad to see the signal back online for this hopefully painless session, and look forward to maybe some positive developments in Boise this year.
Yeah, you and me both, brother. You and me both. Well, one of the things that's going to be fascinating, especially dealing with maybe issues like property taxes and that sort of thing, is how much that does happen to go on in Boise affects the cities, not just the people in them, but how the governing of them is affected. And that would go to you, sir. Is there anything that you are looking forward to hearing from the governor today in his State of the State address that you hope would make your lives a little bit easier on the city council?
I think we would definitely settle for not making it more painful. But I will say that the House Bill 389 that passed, that had the 90% cap on construction and annexation levies, that has really hurt city finances, and it's leading to calls for taking foregone taxes or calls for increasing taxes in you look at the city of Post Falls, other than last year, I don't think that our city had increased tax rates since 2014, but then had to. So that is something that I know is on everyone's mind when it comes to the financing of cities. And it would be nice to see some action on that. Certainly, personally, I'd love to see some of the more ideological changes. Like, love to see the grocery tax repeal actually get passed. I know some people are talking about it being, hey, we're taxing people that come to our state because we get a kickback from it on our taxes, but of course it doesn't cover the amount of taxes. And why do we really want to tax anybody on their groceries, whether they live here or not? It defies logic to me, especially when states like California aren't even taxing groceries, and yet we are. I'd love to see the legislature expand the bathroom bill to say that those of a biological sex must use the bathroom that they are supposed to use, even in non-school buildings, because currently it only applies to school buildings. I'd love to see it apply to any business that's open to the public and has gender-specific restrooms. I think it's important for the safety, particularly of our young girls, but also all of our young people specifically. I'd love to see either, if the state doesn't, then I plan on introducing it at the city level for us to use E-Verify in government contracts to make sure that we're not employing illegal aliens in city contracting. And certainly what's happened in Minnesota with the Somali daycares has brought that even more to light than it was before, that we might be using our resources in order to fund federal crimes. And so that's something that I'm looking at the city level, but if the state would like to preempt, that would be great.
Yes.
Absolutely take it.
Yeah. When you speak about like the bathroom scenario, there was just an incident up north in the county north of you in Bonner. I believe former Senator Scott Herndon highlighted something that happened at a YMCA or a YWCA or some sort of health type club where men were being allowed to use the women's restroom or the women's locker room, and it boggles the mind. Once again, it's like no matter what happens, it's like whack-a-mole. You whack it down, you think you've solved the problem over here, and then it pops up over here, or you think it never is going to pop up in Idaho, and that's certainly not the case. When you were running for city council, what were some of the things that you heard that were top of mind of the folks when it came to thinking about the city? And I know usually property taxes are always at the top of that, but like I said, we've talked about earlier in the program that like the legislature is not the ones that are collecting the funds or even imposing the actual tax. It's literally up to the cities and the counties to do that. Was that a topic of main concern that you heard from your constituents out there?
Surprisingly, no. They wanted to know that I had a position of being responsible in that regard, and then they wanted to move on very quickly and pivot to growth. And some people in the rest of the state might not know that Post Falls is the 70th fastest growing city in the entire country, and we're at around 50,000 now, which the last time you looked it was 25, right? And now it's 50. And people are talking about by 2040 of having 100,000 people in the city of Post Falls. That to me is ridiculous. That's way too many people for what our infrastructure can handle. It's not about not in my backyard. It's not about telling people what they can and can't do with their land. It's about saying, can our streets, can our quality of life, can our way of life survive with double the amount of people in the next 15 years? And the answer is no, it can't. And so we have to grow responsibly. And that was the number one thing on every single constituent. It wasn't like 97%. It was every single door, every single conversation centered around growth. They wanted to know that I had responsible views about taxation and all of that, and all of the other things that go with it, with being a conservative in this state, especially in a city this conservative. But that was the number one issue.
Yeah, speaking of a conservative city, I think between Caldwell, Post Falls, I think Nampa, in terms of like big, high number population cities, it was a pretty good year for the conservatives out there. Did you encounter constituents that were hard leftists, or did you get any of that, or did it just mainly feel like, no, you were just among your like-minded people and we're just looking for the best way forward?
So what I encountered was, in terms of opposition, was all online.
Keyboard warriors.
Yes. People either Democrats or closet Democrats, North Idaho Republicans, which is the moderate group here, to be charitable. That's where the opposition came from. In fact, I had somebody just the other day saying, with Luca and these other two on there, now there's all these bad things are going to happen. I said, I haven't even done anything yet except vote to confirm a few people, and here he is saying that I'm already the problem. So so this video that you're showing here, that was Tuesday. So far, I don't think that I've ruined quality of life in the city of Post Falls. I think we're doing okay.
Even in less than a week, you haven't burned the place down yet, huh?
Yes. I know it doesn't take politicians that long to ruin things, but so far I'm doing all right. I think. So the issues that people care about, and this came up in the appointment process that we had for a vacancy on the city council that was created when the mayor was sworn in and vacated his council seat, is people do want to know, what are your core convictions about the men in women's sports and library porn, community standards, those types. They want to know that if those things do come before the council, which they rarely do, that you're going to vote the right way. And I would say, for me, I want to use the authority, whatever authority that we're given, to advance the ball for conservatives. I don't just want to be in office because I have other things I could be doing. This isn't something I need the approval of strangers in order to feel good about myself, like some politicians. I really want to use this. So we're going to study things like the Liberty dividend, which is the idea that if you save the government money with some idea, we should give you a portion of the first year savings, maybe 10%. If you save the city, $100,000 on some idea, we should cut you a check for $10,000 if those savings are realized. And it will turn the system against itself, because the people that know where to save that money are the people inside the system that currently have a vested interest in protecting it. Certainly the E-Verify issue, it could do at the city level to say, if you're going to contract with the city, or if you're going to annex property and develop a housing development in the city, you have to promise that your subcontractors and your company will use E-Verify to make sure that you're not importing illegal labor into our city and devaluing the price of labor for the U.S. citizens. Love to see sexually themed businesses in our city requiring extra approval and having distance from various institutions that they could affect. No forced pronoun use or declaration amongst businesses in the city. So there's a lot of things that we can do, I think, at the city level to advance the ball for conservatism, and to say that Post Falls is going to be a demonstration city of what good governance looks like and what conservative governance looks like. And we're going to show that, hey, the reason people want to move here is because we are an example and a beacon for freedom.
Yeah, well put. Excellent. Well, Mark, I wish you the best of luck. I know there's again a lot of eyeballs on your city and a couple of others that seem to have a particular outlook and a particular vision for what it means to have a conservative run city, and hopefully at some point a well conservative run state too. So we'll keep tabs on you. Where can people follow you or keep tabs on anything that you're up to, if you have anything?
So certainly the Post Falls agendas that have come out, you can subscribe to those and you can see what we're doing on the city council. And I'll just say that the meeting that's coming up on the 22nd should be of particular interest for for conservatives, if I'll just tease that out a little bit, there'll be a couple of very big issues that come out, and the paper will be mad and your viewers will be excited. So stay tuned for that. And then markluca.com is my website. Of course, it needs to be updated to now that the election's over, to pivot to getting the word out to people. But certainly you can check back on that for updates, as well as Facebook and X as well.
Excellent. All right. Well, thanks, Mark. Godspeed to you, friend.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Okay, very good. Wow, interesting. January 2nd, 22nd, was that right? Yes, 22nd in Post Falls. We'll have to keep tabs on that. Very good. I'll have to ask all my Post Falls friends what's going on, what's cooking up over there. Ooh, I like it. Okay, well, we're at the bottom of the hour here, 12:30 down. We got, let's check in on the House, because I know they're doing some business there. This is where the governor will enter at the top of the hour to deliver his State of the State address. Do you have audio on this? Can we just hear what they're discussing?
Sauter, Miller, Beiswanger, Dygert, Levitt, Mendive, Hall, Healy, Matthias, Hawes. Appropriations: Tanner 14, Chairman, Miller, Vice Chairman. Furness, Petsky, Manwaring, Mitchell, Price, Bruce, Harris, Green. Business.
So we just heard it live, folks. He just announced who was in JFAC on the House side.
Barbieri, Cornelis, Crane 12, Ehlers, Monks,
and it sounded to me, you guys, that they had what they're doing is they're reading off those committee assignments, and it looked like Kyle Harris and Chris Bruce have both been added to JFAC on the House side. That is great news. Those are two pledge signers. And so that's fantastic news. Kyle Harris, that is huge, and Chris Bruce. Those are two huge improvements on the House side. So that's great news. We will try and get a list of what this guy's been saying, so we can catch up here. But yeah, keep the volume up. I'll try and be quiet for a second.
Vanderwoude, Scott, Vishnievsky, Raybold, Redman, Bruce, Burgoyne, Furman, Tanner 13, Thompson, Bingham, Rubel, Egbert, Galaviz. Health and Welfare: Vanderwoude, Chairman, Erickson, Vice Chairman. Healy, Redman, Wheeler, Beiswanger, Burgoyne, Kaler, Furman, Levitt, McCann, Thompson, Hall, Tanner 13, Rubel, Egbert. Judiciary Rules and Administration: Skog, Chairman, Alfieri, Vice Chairman. Scott, Ehart, Erickson, Garner, Handy, Hawkins, Hill, Hostetler, Pahanka, Schertz, Hall, Gannon, Matthias, Rubel. Local Government: Ehart, Chairman, Cornelis, Vice Chairman. Erickson, Skog, Weber, Alfieri, Cheatham, Hawkins, Price, Kaler, Razor, Wheeler, Hostetler, Marmon, Birch, Church. Resources and Conservation: Mendive, Chairman, Shepard, Vice Chairman. Boyle, Vanderwoude, Manwaring, Raybold, Mickelson, Nelson, Pickett, Raymond, Tanner 14, Miller, Dygert, Petsky, Sauter, Healy, Galaviz, Church. Revenue and Taxation: Cannon, Chairman, Weber, Vice Chairman. Shepard, Cheatham, Cornelis, Ehlers, Monks, Raymond, Hill, Raybold, Schertz, Barbieri, Razor, Gannon, Birch. State Affairs: Crane 13, Scott, Palmer, Holtzclaw, Skog, Alfieri, Crane 12, Boyle, Dygert, Mickelson, Pahanka, Bingham, Church, Hawes. Transportation and Defense: Palmer, Chairman, Mitchell, Vice Chairman. Holtzclaw, Monks, Shepard, Crane 12, Handy, Hill, Petsky, Boyle, Harris, Mickelson, Pahanka, Veely, Gannon, Green. Ways and Means: Ehlers, Chairman, Monks, Pickett, Crane 12, Rubel, Birch, Church. Idaho Day Committee: Mitchell, Chairman, Ehlers, Galaviz. Memorial Program Committee: Schertz, Chairman, Petsky, Matthias. From the Office of the Speaker of the House, January 12th, 2026. Cyrus Vore, House of Representatives. Dear Mr. Vore, I hereby appoint you to serve as Acting Chief Clerk of the Idaho House of Representatives, effective January 12th, 2026, and continuing until the Chief Clerk is able to resume her duties. Thank you for your willingness to serve the House in this capacity. Sincerely, Mike Moyle, Speaker of the House.
The letter of appointment for Vore will be filed in the Office of Chief Clerk. This is our new Chief Clerk, and we welcome you. I have nicknames for you, Cy, but I won't name them here. We appreciate all that Erica does, and we're so grateful she was able to come in today and help us get a bunch of stuff done this morning. We appreciate the actions of the House last night that made that happen. We look forward to welcoming her new child when she gets here, and we'll have a good time. Maybe we can convince her to get on names. We've been talking about names, always kind of fun. With that, though, we welcome you, Vore. It's going to be fun. Without objection, the House now return to the seventh order of business. Motion, memorials, and resolutions. House at seventh order of business. Good gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent that the Speaker appoint a committee of 3 to wait upon the Senate and escort them to the House chambers for the purpose of attending a joint session.
Without objection, the committee shall be Representative Tanner, Representative Raybold, and Representative Church. And they're excused to notify the Senate. While they're gone, we will go at ease. There's some stuff that needs to happen in the front here, and they'll bring the Senate over and we'll set the chairs up so you got a little time to be at ease. Please stay close to your chairs. There's a lot of stuff that will happen here in a few minutes. It's that hurry up and wait time, and we appreciate your indulgence. With that, the House will be at ease. Where's the feedback?
Okay, very good. So we missed out on some of the committee appointments, but we did hear most of the committees. Obviously, it sounded like they remained the same. We mentioned the JFAC appointments. Since Josh Tanner was in JFAC on the House side, he has been appointed to be the co-chair on the House side of JFAC. This is the Joint Finance and Appropriations Committee. This is the committee that creates all of the budgets that then get sent to the House and Senate floor for approval, for voting. And so Wendy Horman was appointed to the Trump administration, and that brought her out of, not only out of JFAC, but out of her district. We have a new appointment finishing up her term. But that brought Josh Tanner, at the time, also the assistant majority leader, out of JFAC as just a committee person to the chair. He also gave up his assistant majority leader position because now he's part of JFAC leadership. And so I believe it was Representative Pickett has now the assistant majority leader. And it seemed to be that there was a couple of swaps in and out here on JFAC, at least on the House side, where Kyle Harris, representative out of Lewiston, and Chris Bruce out of Kuna are now part of JFAC. The House Education Committee, because Douglas Pickett, Representative Pickett, was the chair of the House Education Committee, he is now the assistant majority leader, which means you're not the chair of a committee. So last year's vice chair, Representative Dale Hawkins, is now the chair of the Education Committee. And that, my friends, is good news. I don't know if we have any clips at the moment of Dale Hawkins, but that is fantastic news, and that should scare the hell out of the teachers' unions. Perhaps, I don't know. I think maybe, is he a friend of the teachers' unions? I don't know. We certainly aren't here at the, and it's not, we're friends of teachers, okay? We're friends of teachers. We are not friends of teachers' unions leadership and the way that they have screwed up the public education system. All right? It's your fault. It's your fault. Your influence, your money, your power, your ways have screwed it up. You got into the system and you meddled with it. And we're here to fix up the mess. What's happening now? You've got the House. He just sent over 3 representatives from the House. Representative Tanner, I believe it was Josh Tanner, Representative Tanner, Representative Rubel, and Representative Church. Two Democrats and a Republican. Was there another Republican? Were there four? Or is it just two Democrats and a Republican being sent to the Senate to invite them over to the House? You have to do a formal invitation to invite the senators into the House floor so that they can all partake in the State of the State address that is happening at the top of the hour, which we will hopefully carry in its full. We're getting word the gallery is too full. There's too many people in the gallery. So people are watching it in overflow rooms. And so that's what's going to happen there. Just reading some notes. Okay, guys. What else? What else we got? We got, yes, Matt. What did I say? It caused you to say yes. I think I saw a Dale Hawkins celebration as well, so that's good. Yes, Hawkins, very good. All right, there's not much else we had scheduled on here, so and there's nothing going on in the Senate. Is there anything going on in the Senate? They're sending people over there. Were they doing similar things? I guess we can check what was going on over there. We'll find out in a moment. I'm being sent clips here. I don't know what these clips are from. Is this a Hawkins bill? Okay, yeah. Let's show this. Let's remind everybody who Representative Dale Hawkins. Man, what a difference! What a difference! An election. This is it right here. I'm gonna go on a rant for a little bit. 2 years ago, in 2024, the session opened with Representative Julie Yamamoto, former Representative Julie Yamamoto, going into her second session as head chairwoman, whatever you want to call it, of the House Education Committee, where she proceeded to squash school choice, squash any of the bills that were headed for her committee to help our education system. And she said no, she wasn't going to hear them. I think she might have let one come through, and then she was the deciding vote on not letting it go through. It was horrible. I mean, you had people walking out. You had Representative Judy Boyle, I think, storm out of the committee and not want to partake in the circus that was going on in there. Then we went into the 24 election where she got trounced by her opponent, Representative Kent Marmon out of Caldwell, who is now in the legislature. And then last year, you had Representative Hawkins as the vice chair and Pickett as the chairman, and we didn't really know how things were gonna roll. Well, all of these different developments during the interim, now you have Representative Hawkins as the chair, and I'm telling you, what a swing to have this. And so having Representative Hawkins as the chair of the Education Committee, can we remind everybody a little bit of Chairman Hawkins? I'm going to just be calling him Chairman Hawkins. Do we have that clip, that first clip that you shared with me? But let's roll that. Give me a thumbs up when we roll it. I can set it up a little bit. This was at a town hall in Kootenai County. Representative Hawkins is from District 2, which covers, I think, 4 counties maybe. But one of them is Kootenai County. So at the Kootenai County Republican Central Committee, they have these town halls, and they invite every single legislature that touches the county to answer questions and do a town hall. And so during this was one of the questions was asked about teachers unions in particular. And I don't remember everything that goes on in this video, but let's roll it and see what the new head of the House Education Committee thinks about it.
Would any of you support a bill to stop the state from collecting teacher union dues?
So in 2024, I ran a bill to do that, and we had on the floor of the House, quite a bit of pushback. Shocked some people who thought it would be an easy pass. This year, I think Representative Beiswinger and I'm not sure who else tried again. It will come again. The unions have a grip that they should not have in the state of Idaho. And just so everybody knows, that what basically happens is that the state is in control of collecting the dues. It's deducted from payroll. And in some cities, like in the city of Boise, in that school district, they actually give a pay supplement to cover union dues. So this is something that is coming again. And this is, look, back to the folks. I mean, you've elected us, you've sent us there. But if you go home and that's all you do, we lose, right? We lose. We need your help. I mean, there's a guy in the room that talked me into this slightly a long time ago, Dick Harwood.
Dick who?
Anyway, didn't talk me into this, but hey, you want to be a precinct? That's where it starts. But without the folks involved, without you guys writing letters and sending emails, not form emails, not where there's 400 of you with the same email, individual emails, when we know stuff is coming for like this, that's what gets traction, and you send it to everybody. That's what gets traction. Because if it's just 5 or 6 of us up here, not that we're pretty much all on the same page, but you know, in a certain committee, if there's only a couple of us, and the people aren't engaged, and the other side sees they can disregard this, that's what they do. So it takes the people in our communities to get involved more than just the 15 seconds in the voting booth. And you're involved because you're here. But you need to get your neighbors involved and the people down the street.
Oh boy, straight into my veins. Are you kidding me? That is fantastic. All right, folks. I'm telling you, that is so very good news. So very good news. That there, my friends, is your head chairman of the House Education Committee. Very, very good. All right. Okay. So here's the deal. We're going to sign off here, but what we're going to do, we're going to let the stream fly. We're going to have, we'll have all eyes on the House floor as the governor gets ready to, as the Senate gets ready to come into the chamber, to join everybody. Then I imagine the judges, the Supreme Court, Idaho Supreme Court judges and all those folks will also come in and deliver, and listen to the delivery of the State of State address from Governor Little. So we will have that. You have the Senate live. You wanted to show that. What are they doing over there? They are, they're there. So that's good. All right. Well, they're not broadcasting any audio, but they are there, and they will head over to the House for the State of the State address. That is all we have right now. We will be back tomorrow, 10:30 in the north, 11:30 in the south for another broadcast. Keep the stream. We'll keep the stream up. We'll keep it going, and just stay tuned. You won't have any commentary during it, so no disturbances here. And as long as we can keep it going, we will. So thank you again. Let's just put on the House floor and see what they're doing over there, and then just cut to that. And yeah, we'll listen to their beautiful music, which I think we got flagged for on YouTube for playing that music because it's not ours, it's theirs. It's copyright. We were rolling it or whatever. So anyway, that'll be what's going on. All right, folks, thanks again for joining us. Today was day one. We had some great guests. We hope you got a lot out of it. Remember, we need to avoid the noise and stay finely tuned to the signal. Is that going to be my new closing tagline? I don't know. We'll work on it. All right, we'll see you next time. Let's keep the shot up.
House will be in order. Good job, 22.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The committee waiting upon the Senate will return and report.
Welcome, committee. Thank you, gentlemen. We welcome the senators. Will you please escort them in so we can get ready for the joint session? Welcome, good senators. We look forward to hearing the governor's state of state today with you. House will be at ease.
That would be, yeah, all right, our little secret. Yeah.
Okay, which microphone are we using for the roll?
Say again?
Which microphone are we using for the roll?
This one.
We're using the main one? Okay.
So, is Jason saying? Okay, so is this mic? This one right here. Does anybody up there know how to work? Okay, just when she gets her roll. All right, you probably went back to his office.
Well, we can always turn that one on and I can use that one.
That's true, but the governor will need that on anyway, so.
Yeah, so we need to find out how to turn that on. So did we get it figured out?
Apparently it's already on. Yep. That was what I was reported back. So I'm really hoping that that works.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, we'll do, in worst case scenario, I'll flip this to you and then go run out there and have
And then I'll just
Yep.
hit that one. Because it's just like ours.
Jason said it's good to go, right? Great.
The joint session will be in order. First order of business is roll call. Clerk will unlock the machine. They can't see the roll call. What is it? 68 present, 2 absent, excused, majority being present. The House is ready to do business. The Secretary of the Senate will now call the Senate roll.
Adams. Anthony. Burnt. Bjerke. Blaylock. Burtshaw. Carlson. Cook. Tin Hartog. Foreman. Galloway. Grove. Guthrie. Harris. Hart. Kaiser. Cole. Lakey. Lenny. Lind. Nichols. Okonowitz. Robbie. Ricks. Ruckty. Semmelroth. Shippey. Taylor. Taves. Van Orden. Ford Ingelking. Wintrow. Woodward. Cito. Ziderveld.
35 senators present, more than the majority. We have quorum is present, and the joint session has enough members to be in order. With the House, the joint session will now advance to the second order of business with a prayer for our good chaplain Tom Doherty, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Will our friends in the gallery please arise?
Welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. It's going to be a great session. And we're going to start it off with prayer. Our loving Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for all these men and women that have come to serve our great state. I thank you for the commitment they've made to their communities. I thank you for their support of everything that goes on here at the state. And I pray, God, you would give them direction, give them wisdom and understanding, and Lord, help them through all the situations that come their way. And Lord, I'm very thankful for our state staff. I'm so thankful for our governor. I pray that you would just bless him and watch over him and lead him as he leads our state, and our lieutenant governor. And Lord, all the state officials, please be with them. Lord, as we ponder each day the things you have for us, I pray, God, that we would spend a lot of time thanking you and looking to you for guidance and for wisdom. And Lord, I pray you'd just be with this time today and be with the governor as he shares these words. May they impact lives around us. And Lord, may we be different people because we call on Almighty God. I give you thanks in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Joint session will be in order. Good job, 22.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent that the Speaker appoint 2 committees of 4 members each, one to wait upon the justices of the Supreme Court and the appellate court justices, and one to wait upon the elected officials of the state of Idaho and escort them to the House chambers.
Thank you, gentlemen. The committee will wait upon the Supreme Court justices and appellate court judges will be Representative Skog, Representative Gannon, Senator Lakey, and Senator Ward Ingelking. The committee may be excused to get the judges and justices. The committee will wait upon an escort to the House, the floor. The elected officials will be Representative Manwaring, Representative Mathias, Senator Harris, and Senator Rutke. They may be excused. Gentleman 22.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent that the Speaker appoint a committee to wait upon the governor and escort him to the House chambers.
Without objection, the committee will wait upon the governor and escort him to the House floor will be Representative Monks and Rubel, Senator Ben Hartog, and Senator Wintrow, and that committee may be excused. we'll wait upon the committees. I think we'll do is put the House at ease. I think the issue is timing with the governor. So we'll be at ease for one moment. Everybody, please stay in your chairs. Joint session will be in order. Good gentleman, 27.
Mr. Speaker, the committee waiting upon the Supreme Court justices and the appellate court judges has returned and will report.
Committee, please come forward. Thank you. We welcome the justices and judges and welcome to the joint session. The House will be at ease while we welcome the judges in there. Come to the front.
Mr. Speaker, the committee waiting upon the elected officials has returned and will report.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good gentleman, Senator Harris.
Your committee are pleased to present.
Thank you. We welcome to the chambers. Will you please escort them forward? The House will be at ease. I was going to say escort them out. Don't tell him that, Governor. Good gentleman, 27.
Mr. Speaker, the committee waiting upon the governor has returned and will report.
Committee, please come forward. Wait just a second. Would the committee like to introduce the governor for us, please? Welcome, Governor. Welcome to the House floor, Governor. We look forward to your words of encouragement, and it's going to be a good day. Look forward to what you have to say.
All right. Please be seated. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Pro Tem, Mr. President, honored legislators, my fellow constitutional officers, Mr. Chief Justice, and members of the judiciary, my wife, Teresa, and your First Lady, our family, friends, and my fellow Idahoans. As Teresa and I begin the final year, my second term as Idaho's 33rd Lieutenant Governor, we are deeply humbled to serve the people of the great state. These past 7 years have only reinforced what we've long known. Idaho and her people are grounded in enduring values. We are independent and innovative. We act with integrity. We approach our lives and our work with unwavering grit. Idaho is evolving. However, through the change, we must commit ourselves to preserving our state as the place where opportunity thrives. We must dedicate ourselves to carrying forward the values that defined us, making sure they endure for generations to come. We have some very special guests with us today. Idaho's past 3 governors and first ladies. Idaho's 32nd governor, Governor Butch Otter and First Lady Lori. Idaho's 31st governor, U.S. Senator Jim Risch and First Lady Vicky. And Idaho's 30th governor, Governor Dirk Kempthorne and First Lady Patricia. Governors and First Ladies, would you please stand? It's great to have you here. I hope I get half that applause. So these great governors established a foundation of success that Idaho enjoys today. They brought a passionate, principled, and purposeful approach to leadership. And their decisions prioritized long-term well-being of our state, which remains central to Idaho's prosperity. Thank you for being here. This year, America turns 250 years old, a milestone that invites celebration, reflection, and hope. We also mark the 25th anniversary of 9/11. We remember the patriotism, unity, and sense of community that emerged from that tragedy. In the year ahead, we'll build on that spirit by creating new opportunities for communities across Idaho to serve God and one another, to show love for our neighbors. For 2.5 centuries, the United States of America has been defined by the idea that freedom and opportunity belong to all. As we look to the future of our great country, this same idea will unite us as it always has. On the 250th commemoration of our country's birth, let's recognize and thank the generations who built this nation and those who defend it today, our active military members and veterans. If you have served our country in the military, please stand so we can thank you. As we kick off the 2026, we reflect on all that has occurred over the past year. And it was an action-packed year. The American people put Donald Trump back in the White House to send shockwaves through our system that needed shaking up. And boy, did he deliver. Washington needed a jolt, and President Trump delivered full voltage. Over the past year, President Trump has reshaped the federal government with a renewed focus on strength and accountability. America's border is finally secure, and President Trump has put forward a pro-American agenda. Last year in the Oval Office, I spoke with President Trump about how Idaho exemplifies his vision of America. We're tough on crime. We protect the unborn. We eliminated CRT and DEI, and we led the nation in preventing men from competing in women's sports. We also talked about how Idaho advances his talent strategy for America through Idaho Launch. Together, we are putting America workers first. Innovative workforce training programs power a modern economy, reinforce America's competitive dominance over China, and help Idaho workers earn more and afford more. Launch remains one of my top priorities for one simple reason: it's working. More Idaho kids are choosing to stay in Idaho after high school than ever before. And post-secondary enrollment is declining across the nation, but not in Idaho. Idaho is bucking the trend. Now, in year 2, Launch is preparing young Idahoans to step directly into the most demand jobs in our state, including skilled mechanics, healthcare workers, teachers, and others. I'm grateful for the Trump team's support of Launch. I was honored to host Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer last year to celebrate it. The Idaho legislature and I will continue to partner together to help President Trump deliver on his promise to fight for the Idaho worker. For Idaho, the change from the last administration to having Republicans in the White House is now night and day. Under Biden, Idaho was kept more or less in the dark. But now we have a real partner at the federal level. Nowhere is that more obvious than in safety. Ask any law enforcement officer on the ground and they'll tell you, under the last administration, immigration enforcement wasn't just slowed down, it was put on ice. I knew you'd get it. That changed 1 year ago. The American people delivered a mandate, enforce the law, and keep our people safe. Idaho was ready to step up. Through Operation No Return, the Idaho State Police are removing dangerous illegal alien criminals from our neighborhoods. We're talking about child rapists, stalkers, violent offenders, kidnappers, and drug traffickers. That's what real public safety looks like. Colonel Bill Gardner, head of the Idaho State Police, is here with some of our troopers who jumped at the chance to help. Colonel and troopers, Idaho is among the safest state in the nation because of you. Please stand so we can thank you. Over the past year, our partnership with the Trump administration is delivering real results in other areas as well. Last year, I was proud to host HH Secretary RFK Jr. We were showcasing Idaho's leadership in Make America Healthy Again movement, from restricting cell phone use in schools to eliminating candy and soda in the food stamp program. We're also partnering with the Trump team to deliver results in energy dominance. The Idaho National Laboratory in Idaho Falls has been at the forefront of nuclear energy research for decades. And today, under President Trump, America is experiencing a nuclear energy resurgence. We recently hosted expanded federal partnerships like Shared Stewardship and Good Neighbor Authority. These flagship agreements better protect Idaho communities from wildfire, revitalize rural Idaho, improve forest health through increased logging and active management. We're delivering a better quality of life for our people through joint efforts to expand access to outdoor recreation because Idahoans cherish and protect our public lands. And we're creating jobs through faster and more efficient permitting for a variety of projects, from mining to energy production. We're also partnering with President Trump to deliver results for Idahoans by championing common sense values, like education freedom and standing up for women's sports. In fact, tomorrow, Idaho goes before the U.S. Supreme Court to defend our first in the nation law to protect women's sports. Idaho will continue to lead the rest of the country, and the rest of the country will continue to follow because common sense still matters. Of course, no look back at the past year would be complete without acknowledging a new addition to the American vocabulary, Doge. The term may be new, but the principle behind it is something Idaho has long embraced, that elected leaders should always seek to reduce the government's regulatory footprint in the lives of citizens and maximize government efficiency. During my time as governor, together, we made Idaho the least regulated state in the nation. We cut or streamlined 95% of rules and regulations. For anyone who's been bald a little longer than they planned, that's not just a haircut, that's a buzz cut. Last year, this body took the next step by passing the Code Cleanup Act, turning our attention and our scissors to state statutes. The agencies in my administration got to work, dedicated countless hours to scrub the Idaho Code and deliver our red tape rollback report to the Idaho legislature. The report follows through on a key component of the Idaho Act. Our report recommends repealing 145,000 words of state law, the equivalent of the length of 20 football fields if you lined up the words end to end. The report provides a roadmap to remove outdated, duplicative, and unnecessary laws. Mr. Pro Tem, Mr. Speaker, here's our red tape rollback plan for the legislature's consideration. I value the strong collaboration between our two branches as we streamline operations and pursue cost-saving reforms across state agencies. Through my executive order, the Idaho Act, and our work with the legislature, we're driving changes that improve performance. That's because that's what Idahoans expect. I want to thank you, the members of the Idaho legislature, for sharing my zeal for cutting red tape. You codified a practice I established through Executive Order 2020, zero-based regulation, forcing a routine review of rule chapters annually. What was the outcome? Savings of more than $1 million in a state government that is more transparent, easier to navigate, and less burdensome for citizens and businesses. Small business owners don't need a lawyer to read the law. And let's be honest, fewer lawyers in the mix never hurt anybody, except maybe lawyers. Sorry. Looking ahead, we will remain laser focused on cutting red tape, driving even bolder reforms that fuel economic growth and smarter government. We'll do it with the same sharp, disciplined approach that has proven to work in the past. That spirit of limited, efficient government is woven into our ethos here in Idaho. It is one of the enduring values that will help us navigate the budget pressures before us. A balanced budget isn't just required by the Idaho Constitution, it's the right thing to do. Today, I am delivering my recommendations for fiscal years 26 and 27. 6-7. That went over a lot better than I thought it would. It is called the Enduring Idaho Plan. The plan is named with purpose. Enduring captures a vision of Idaho that is resilient, strong, and built for the long term. Thanks to years of smart governing, Butch, Jim, and Dirk, our success is not temporary. It will stand the test of time if we continue to make smart decisions. A combination of factors has shifted us from years of record budget surpluses, driven by rapid population growth, business expansion, and one-time federal funds, to a period ahead that demands restraint. Thankfully, the way we have governed in recent years has positioned Idaho to weather the revenue challenges ahead. Together, we use one-time federal funds responsibly on one-time needs, not ongoing programs that will expand long-term obligations. We invested in critical infrastructure, roads, water, sewer, broadband, state parks, and others, while eliminating years of deferred maintenance in state buildings. We paid down debt, and Idaho now boasts the lowest per capita debt in the nation. We strengthened our reserves to record levels, earning the coveted AAA credit rating only a handful of states achieve. Taken together, these actions position us to achieve a balanced budget in the coming years and maintain confidence in Idaho's economic future. Our Enduring Idaho Plan makes way for Idaho to conform to the Trump tax cuts achieved through the One Big Beautiful Bill. Only President Trump could name a bill that confidently and then make it deliver. Idaho already ranks third in the nation for tax friendliness, but the cost of living remains high. At a time when everything costs more, the Trump tax cuts will provide real relief. They will put more money back in the pockets of Idaho's seniors and working families so they can afford the basics and breathe a little easier. Trump tax cuts will help Idaho compete for jobs and investment and preserve the core principles that I have long advocated for in Idaho's tax system: simple, fair, predictable, and competitive. As we strive to make life more affordable for Idahoans, my plan ensures that resources are in place to deliver those tax cuts for Idahoans. Families and businesses across Idaho are grappling with rising costs, particularly in healthcare, and states everywhere are feeling the same strain. In Idaho, a fast-growing population adds to that pressure. However, Idaho's approach to balancing the budget stands in stark contrast to our neighbors to the left, the state of Washington. Washington just broke the record for the biggest tax increase in their history. And it is no surprise that Washington business owners who love faith, family, freedom, and keeping more of what they earn are ditching the evergreen state and coming to Idaho. Unlike Washington, Idaho won't raise taxes to balance the state budget. In Idaho, we will right-size spending to match the people's means. Last year, our revenue forecast decreased by 14% in a few months. That change was driven by several factors: a different approach in the legislature to revenue forecasting, historic tax cuts, softer sales tax collections as consumer spending adjusted, and ongoing uncertainty around interest rates in the national economy. Responsible leadership means acting early, not waiting for challenges to grow. That's why we took deliberate steps to right-size spending and identify efficiencies across all agencies. But we were clear on one thing: K-12 schools are not subject to cuts. I sincerely thank our state agency directors and their teams for their dedication to helping balance the state budget. They are truly top-notch professionals and proud Idahoans committed to doing what's best for our state. Please join me in a round of applause to show our deep appreciation for our state agency directors and our state employees. That's you, gentlemen. Looking ahead, our Enduring Idaho plan balances the budget without cutting into public schools. We're going to do it while preserving the things that matter most to our long-term well-being as a state. Here's how. Our plan uses a responsible mix of one-time and ongoing spending reductions to keep the budget structurally sound. Across state government, executive agencies will tighten their belts. We're renegotiating contracts to save money. We're reprioritizing initiatives. We're finding operational efficiencies, and we will make disciplined use of cash balances and interest earnings. All of this serves to limit the impact on Idahoans as we right-size government. Just as importantly, we will protect Idaho's financial foundation. We will keep money in the bank so we can maintain our AAA credit rating. We won't deficit spend, and we won't add new debt like Congress does. Our plan also right-sizes funding for online schools, enhancing accountability and assuring long-term sustainability for this important school choice option for thousands of Idaho families. Folks, some of these budget decisions are tough, but we will emerge stronger in the long run because of them. This is what financial responsibility looks like: planning ahead and living within our means. Our Enduring Idaho plan was carefully designed with strategy and foresight to protect what matters most, the things that will keep Idaho strong today, tomorrow, and decades to come. That starts with our public schools. Together, we've increased state support for public schools by 70% since I first took office. And we significantly raised teacher pay, investing 7 times more in literacy programs, driving better reading scores. We made historic investments in school facilities that also served as property tax relief. And we added more discretionary funding so schools can stay flexible and responsible to local needs. I appreciate Debbie Critchfield for her strong partnership in supporting education. She deserves credit for advancing new solutions for special education students in our public schools. Debbie, thank you. Education has and always will be my top priority. Join us today are students from Eagle Hills Elementary School. They're not just a 6'7" prop. To remind us of why young people are at the heart of everything we do. Kids, can you please give a big hello to the lawmakers? Stand up. Our Enduring Idaho plan keeps public schools whole and ensures classroom funding is protected. Idaho's public schools are the heart and soul of our communities, and our children are our future, which is why, even in a year of reduced revenues, schools remain our top priority. A strong economy for Idaho, now and into the future, requires an adaptable workforce, more important than ever in a world where jobs seem to be changing at lightning speed. Our Enduring Idaho plan preserves Idaho Launch so that we can support President Trump's goal to expand the working class, the people who drive our economy. The strength of Idaho's future also relies on the vitality of rural communities and the agricultural sector. That's why our plan maintains the water infrastructure investments we fought for last year. The Enduring Idaho plan delivers for our farmers and ranchers and the people who feed and fuel Idaho. And of course, the health and the well-being of the people in Idaho are key to our lasting success. That's why our Enduring Idaho Plan safeguards access to healthcare, particularly in rural communities. We know the affordability and accessibility of healthcare tops the list of concerns for Idahoans right now. Over the next 5 years, thanks to the leadership and vision of Idaho's congressional delegation and President Trump, Idaho will invest nearly $1 billion federal dollars to improve the access and affordability of rural healthcare. This investment includes more than $150 million to strengthen the healthcare workforce pipeline serving our rural communities. And through my Enduring Idaho Plan, we'll build on the progress we've made to address our physician shortage, committing another $1 million to support graduate medical education. This plan tackles one of the most important aspects in the lives of Idahoans we serve, because a healthy Idaho is a thriving Idaho. My friends, the state of our state is strong. We do face challenges, but we've laid a solid foundation for enduring and long-term prosperity. That foundation was built not by today's leaders alone, but by the work of those who came before us. Governor Otter guided Idaho through the most severe economic downturn of the century, reinforcing the proper role of government and drawing a clear line between what's nice and what is necessary. Governor Risch delivered record property tax relief when homeowners badly needed it. And Governor Kempthorne made lasting foundational improvements to Idaho's transportation system. The proof is clear. Idaho's fundamentals remain among the strongest in the nation. Your dollar stretches further here than anywhere else. Our unemployment rate is among the lowest in the nation. We lead in personal income growth, and our economic activity continues to outpace most states, reflecting a diverse and resilient economy. Jobs are growing, and Idaho's healthy business climate remains a magnet for employers, talent, and investment. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If you're going to bet on any state, bet on Idaho. As we approach the 250th birthday of our great nation, we honor our past as we look boldly to the future. We will roll up our sleeves and get to work for the people of Idaho, guided by our values: grit, faith, family, and freedom. Thank you, and God bless Idaho, and God bless the United States of America.
Be patient. Slow down there, cowboy. You can leave now. Thank you, good governor. You're right. We're just glad your speech wasn't the 2.5 hours you promised.
Well, I always under-promise and over-deliver.
That's good. Well, we look forward to working with you, Governor, and keeping Idaho the great state it is. Thank you for your words and messages, and let's get this job done. Thanks, boss. Would the committee please come forward to get the governor? Thank you, Governor. Will the committee please come forward to escort our good friends from the judiciary from the House chambers? Will our friends on the committee to escort or come forward and escort our good friends that are elected officials from the chamber too, please? House will be in order. Gentleman from 22, I need a motion to put the governor's message in the journal.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the governor's State of the State message and the budget address be printed in both the House and Senate journals.
Lady from,
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
you've heard the motion. Debate on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The motion passes and the governor's comments will be placed in the journal. With that, I need a good gentleman 22.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the joint session of the Idaho legislature be dissolved.
Lady.
I second the motion.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. Is there debate on the motion? Hearing none, so ordered. And all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion passes, and the joint session is dissolved.
This bill, I think, it puts a stake in the ground that says we have a sovereign right to protect what's ours.